Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. Morning. Ugh. Hope everybody's having a good day. Mine's going, it's going all right. I'm going to say it's going great. I think I might be losing my voice. Ugh. Not even sure what I'm really going to talk about here. I just know there's probably some things that I need to get off my chest. Maybe. I don't know. I tend to do these things, and sorry, I got to take my meds before I forget. A lot of times I go live just to kind of, I want people to know that they're not alone. I don't just take pictures wherever I'm at and show you the living the best life of sobriety. And no, because that's not how sobriety is, man. It's not how recovery's not all happy, joyous, free moments, man. It's not. And the one thing I can't really do is being fake. It's just I'm not willing to be something I am not anymore. All right. If I sat here and told you everything was great all the time and there's no frustrations, if I would be lying to you. All right. And all the meds I'm taking right now are prescribed. None of them are narcotic. They're for my blood they're for my blood pressure. They're for all my heart stuff and bring down my blood pressure. My blood pressure is finally at a decent place. I don't know if anybody else has really felt the shift, but there is a shift going on in recovery. And we're probably going to see people, I don't know, I'm hoping we're going to see more people in AA is what we're going to do. There is actually one thing that I'm working on, and I did a couple of things. Like, this is kind of one thing that I want to talk about. But first, let's do introductions. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. Yada, yada. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch, right? People who are friends on Facebook but do not follow. I don't see the point. And this is probably just me. And that's okay too. But there's a couple people that are kind of close in my life, but they have a hard time reading the stuff that I do. And I get it. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Then don't be friends with me just to appease me. If you're friends with me and not following, I honestly don't want you on my Facebook, because there again, it is fake. Then we're not friends. If you can't love me for who I am, if there's not unconditional love in your heart, you're going to have a very hard time being around me. I'm that kind of a person, man. Hi, Heather. Hi, Jimmy. Good to see you both. Heather says, good afternoon, getting ready for work and may just need to hear what's being shared. It always is. Jimmy says, totally, I get it. Yeah. Um, Leisure says never tried to figure out people's social media habits. And that's a good way to put it. Social media habits. I like that. I like that. So I changed my Facebook to a professional. So I don't have any more friends. I just have followers because it's not hard to find my phone number. It's not hard to get a hold of me. I'm usually available. I tend to write back. Um, it's just kind of who I am. But if I had millions of followers, I wouldn't be able to get that done. I this whole this whole part of it being personal and feeling like it's meant for you would kind of go away. I don't want to lose that either. You know, uh, the daily trudge is not for popularity; it's for whoever needs it. Um, I believe that if you are meant to find me, then God will lead you to me. If I am meant to find you, then God will lead me to you. Yep. I believe that's the way it works. Seems to work just great for me. Might be different for other people, and that's okay too. This might be part of me because, you know, I haven't had the best news in the last 2, 3 weeks. I'm getting a lot of bad news, and I think part of me is just I'm angry, man. But I'm finding my anger subdued. And it's by the grace of God. It ain't me doing it. Today I've been doing my best just to kind of stay in my lane. You know, um, there's some things that I'm working on. It confuses me because I understand that people want to help, they want to do this, but I have a hard time with other people's priorities and me not being one. No, that's not healthy. I know that. But it's one of my problems. And please don't get me wrong. There's some people, right? Amber, I hope you don't mind me using you as an example. Like the grassroots. I'm like, okay, who's gonna help us host? Who's gonna do the and there's a lot of people that go to that meeting and nobody's saying anything. And I get frustrated. I get frustrated with that. And even Amber's like, well, I could help more, but if there's anybody that supports everything that I do,
about what's making you feel this way. Knowing the context might help.
wow. Did you hear that? I said I'm getting frustrated, so my phone tried to help me. Don't tell me they're not listening. They're listening. Leisure said, I'm an egomaniac with an inferiority complex. I'm kidding. You didn't call me that. You just posted it for what I was saying earlier. But I thought that was kind of funny. You know. One of the things that I gotta tell you, I'm already tired of it is the whining. The whining. I'm having a hard time with that. And I get sucked into it so easily. I really do. And Lori, good to see you. Good to see you. Lori says, I agree. God will bring people to our path. No need to go out hunting like a predator. That connection has a negative agenda. I absolutely agree with that. Yes, I do. You know, I'm not going to force anybody to listen to what I talk about or anything like that. More than anything, if there's one thing that I want to try and do, it's to help those people that want help. And that's it. But it's so easy for me to get caught up in worldly clamors. It is. You know, when I think about what's going on, my thoughts go to What about all the people out there who at least had a recovery coach or a peer support person, and now they're just gone? What about those people that are out there? Now I understand a lot of the money was taken away, and it's hurt some people that I don't really want it to hurt, but when we become dependent upon the government or certain things in order to give us our pleasures in life, well, gosh. And if you're a really good recovery coach, you wouldn't be hurting that bad because you did it the right way. And if you have really good resources, well, gosh, then you know where to go get food. You know where to go get public assistance. You know how to get Medicaid. You know how to do all these things. And you'll hear me say quite often that a recovery coach is only good as their resources, and it is because they have to use those resources. I do. I have Medicaid. I know how to find a good therapist. I know how to, and these are the things that I want to start applying. So I wasn't really going to, and this isn't an announcement, it's something that I'm working on, but without help I'm asking Aurora Mental Health to help me out. See, East Metro Detox doesn't really need to hire peer support people as much as they need to call the AANA hotline. There are a bunch of recovered alcoholics and addicts out there that are more than happy to take their own time and come talk to that person. And when it is altruistic like that, what happens is they become willing, and then the people at the detox can do their job, which is help them. And that's the piece I'm trying to kind of stick in there. I don't want to go to like East Metro Detox and say, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, no, those days are over. It's, hey, what are the needs here so we can figure out what's going to be best, and I can do that for you. I can go out and get that for you because I'm really good at that. I'm really good at making connections, right? Just like I was talking with a lady, Lori Lasky. She is the commissioner of Yuma County, and she needs peer support people that help with opiate. And I know plenty of peer support people like that, right? But there's more things that go to it. You're probably not going to understand this, but the peer support that I really like is the COPA standards. And that essentially means that it's 1 to 2 years of recovery. Of course, you have your experience, but then it's 500 to 600 hours before you are certified. And it's more than a certificate. A certificate is going to be, you went to the class and it's a no-fail class and kind of thing. I feel like we need more education. So what I'm saying is, if we can use the people with the experience, but not necessarily the education, to help these people become willing, then they can pass them on to somebody that maybe has the education, but not the experience. And both these people are needed. Both of these people are needed. There's no way I would be who I am without the professionals. And we have to learn how to work best together. How to work best, right? So there's a lot of this is the idea. Okay, I'm looking, let's say I'm new in recovery and I'd like to have a peer support specialist. Right. And no, you don't need insurance, because we're not going to charge an arm and a leg. I'm thinking $35 a session. Not that much. Okay. It is a lot less than what you would have spent on drugs and alcohol for the month. Right. And what we do is we make the peer support independent contractors. So therefore, they're not really hired by Aurora Mental Health. But then Aurora Mental Health has the peer support people that they need for the clients. It sounds very basic, and there's a lot more to it than that. Like billing. If they have Medicaid, we can use Medicaid, but I got to get it to like a $35. So there might be a $10 copay with it, right? But really, it's just making these connections from one to the other. And then there again, my job would be to support the peer support people so that they do what they do best, and that's work with the client, right? That would include getting you more clients, what a good fit is. It would mean that I would help you take care of your billing and help you get paid. I will teach you how to get an EIN number, a bank account, how to pay your taxes. And then, of course, support for the peer support. So I would become the peer support, peer support. Right? Right. So that's the basic idea. I'm not going to get into more of it. And there's a couple of places I would not have a hard time getting clients at this point. It wouldn't be hard. Between Aurora Mental Health, Adams County, Arapahoe County coming on, the Community Resource Center, it would not be tough. But until the website's up and everything, there's not really much I can do. All right. Morning, Michelle. It's good to see you. For any of those interested, we'll be having a meeting in 31 minutes. This will be the last Tuesday we are meeting at noon. We do have clarification for the in-person meeting. The 30th is when we will be meeting first. Next week, we are doing a test run on the hybrid meeting. But, ooh, the story. Hey, somebody did a story on these three great women that are, what they're doing is they're going after different money. And she's like, where's the story that they committed Medicaid fraud? I'm like, there's no story that they committed Medicaid fraud. That's why I'm contacting you. Do your research. Do your research. Because here's the thing. No, I'm not going to go out publicly and start saying this place committed Medicaid fraud. But if you go on television or you decide that you want to put your face out there and you use the news to do it, I will be contacting that reporter and letting them know you committed Medicaid fraud. Not necessarily my lane, though, is it? Well, at the same time, somebody's got to tell the truth. And that's what I try and do here. And that is fact. That is just pure fact. And it is one thing that is kind of irritating me, I have to admit. Right? But I can't let that turn into resentment. I can't let it turn into other things that it doesn't need to be. But because I have to stick to the facts. You can't go run around and starting rumors, and that's old behavior. That is old behavior. And even then, that one, she's asking for the proof of it. But I also challenged her to let people know that there are resources out there that are free, and maybe they ought to check into that. But let's avoid that question. Matt, that's awfully convenient, isn't it? So, but yeah, I'm getting a little frustrated that now they're going after the money that we use to help children and prisons. They're just switching what they're doing. But as long as they stop using AA to get clients, then I guess I really don't have a say so. Everything that I'm doing isn't going to happen. Anything that I'm doing as far as the government goes isn't happening till next year. There was going to be some legislation this year, but I've been told it ain't going to happen till next year. So, that's not there. What do we have coming up? Well, Aurora Mental Health, their new detox will be up in 7 months, and it's going to be brand new. And Lori, I think you will be proud of us on that one, because we're following what RAC is doing. I don't remember all the names, but I do want to reach out to your boss and have a talk with them. I'm meeting with Levon on Thursday. Levon is helping us figure out what we're doing at the new detox here in Adams County. And it will also be medically, it'll be 3.7 is what we call it, right? So, are they the para regulations, something like that? Where if you are in detox and you need medication, it's going to be taken care of right then and there. We don't need to take you anywhere. We don't need to do anything. Having decent meals with actually a little bit of salt in them or whatever, this bland water that they give us. I was talking to Lori a few weeks ago about what they're doing there, and we're taking those ideas because they're fantastic. If somebody comes in and maybe they've been living on the streets for months and they haven't been able to, you let them go take a shower. When they come back out, there'll be a new set of clothes there for them, and we'll wash their clothes and we'll treat them with a little bit of, like Michael Jackson would say, a little bit of TLC, to the love and care. Song called PYT. PYT. Pretty young thing. Got to do some singing here, or it isn't a daily trudge. But I do kind of feel out of sorts today. Not necessarily grumpy cat, but and I'm feeling grateful about a lot of things, and it's like my mind is looking for things to be angry about. And so I've been kind of watching what words I say. I've been kind of watching what I say. Like I said, there are some personal things going on. And I'm feeling very powerless around it. I'm feeling very powerless. Somebody reached out to me for help. It's a family member. I don't feel like they're letting me help. And you guys understand that. And that's just, I'm a white male, so mansplaining is my thing. And I try to avoid that. I really do. So, I'm frustrated about a few things. There's some really great things that are going on, which is what I've been trying to focus on today. Even what I was talking about with matching clients with peer support, there's a lot of moving parts there. There's a lot of moving parts, too many for Dion. Well, for anybody, it would be too much. So if you have spare time and want to help me with it, and if you're not put together a webpage, that's what would really help. Right? Because you have it's just a lot of different stuff. It's so hard to explain. Because you're talking recovery, you're talking clinical and business. So, and these are three different animals, right? And what I don't want to do, the key to all of it is the resource list that I'm creating. Because what happens is if they're all trusted resources, then we just continue referring to each other. Okay. But the key is you have to refer. Nobody is the alpha omega, right? Manscaping is too close of that's too close of a word. It's a little different than mansplaining. Let me explain to you what manscaping is. I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that, but it is funny. I just want to do what at this point, because I've done so much wrong in my life, I just want to do what's right, man. And I don't always know what right is. I have to go exploring. I have to ask my higher power. I have to ask friends in the program, and I think I got too much sleep because I'm not drowsy. I'm ready for a nap, but I'm not tired. So, and what I don't want to do is add anger onto it, because that wears me out quicker than anything else. Right? When your brain's just going and going, and then by the end of the day, it just feels like my head is full of stuff. And I don't want to live there. I don't want to be that kind of example. Um, you know, so we do the best that we can each day with what we have, right? So, all right. Well, thank you for letting me talk about that a little bit. I appreciate it. Um, I'm sorry I didn't go into anything too deep and meaningful, but I'm kind of watching what I'm putting out there nowadays. All I really do want to do is help, but finding the right place for me seems to be an arduous task. So, all right. Thank you, everybody. And thank you for the laughs. Thanks for the support. I really do appreciate what everybody does. I've never been in the position where I've gotten so much love. And it's nice. It's nice to become the person that I was always supposed to be. No regrets. No regrets. No fear. I love you. You know I do. Peace out. And have a day.